Welcome to Finding the Voices, to our very new season of People of the World, where we are going to learn from a renowned, outstanding guest speaker, which I will be inviting and getting in our show to help us learn more about what's happening, in the world, the different perspective they can share with us, and for us to bring out our best version. So I have been doing podcasting for now more than 7 years. Yeah, and I have been always focusing on people in and around Manipur. And now it's time to include the rest of the world and get them to our show. So, welcome to our very first episode. And I'm so grateful that you guys have been sticking around with me and learning as we go for the last many years. For those who are new to our show, a little bit about myself. I was born in Manipur. That's my native place. Right now, currently, I'm based in Maryland in USA. Professionally, I am actually working as a product analyst in one of the healthcare IT company here in Washington, D.C. But as my passion, you can see that over the weekend, I do host Finding the Voices talk show, bringing in guest speaker, and also, with the intent to learn and spread more positivity, coming from a background of a very conflicted place like Manipur, wherein, we do need a lot of personal growth and learning. I want to share a little bit on why, right? Why do we need to have a podcast like People of the World? Why do we need to hear their perspective? So I want to share a little bit about, some of the personal growth experience I have had. So this is one of the slide which I have been working on for our current workshop, which we do called Finding Yourself. And Finding Yourself is focused on, getting together with people as a workshop setting. It is an online workshop wherein we are very focused on, striving ourselves to be high achievers and achieve, what we want in our mind. And a backdrop on how this came about is, with life, everybody goes through the lows and the highs. And for me, one of the lowest point in my life was in 2000, 3 years back, where my father passed away. And that was more a trigger of many other things which was happening in my life. And I hit rock bottom at that time. And for me, I think that was a turning point. And I got out and met these amazing people who really helped me, um, you know, um, come out of it, understand different aspect. And, I have shared some of the pictures here. I learned my meditation from Mr. Deepak Chopra. I, of course, it reemphasized how extraordinary, right, a person can be, meeting Vishen Lakhiani. And I learned how to invest in myself, in my personal growth, in learning how to be a good speaker from Lisa Nichols. And of course, I cannot, miss mentioning Michael Neal, who has taught me how to create the impossible. And the latest project which I did with him under his guidance, under his workshop, was creating the impossible of raising funds from my painting, right? So as I said, I am a software engineer, and but then I actually raised 1 lakh 1 rupee for palliative care, one of the initiative which I'm very, very passionate about. So that is coming from a person who doesn't, know much about painting. So that really shows that, you can really achieve anything what you want if you're focused and your mind is set on. So that's a little bit about, why and how I feel it is very important to learn from other people. And I saw myself transform, and I want to give it to you by bringing, our guest speaker, and then we can learn like different tools and techniques from them so that we can elevate ourselves. And today, for our very, 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 very first episode, I am so happy to be bringing in Christine Samuel. She is the founder of InnerWorkMatters, and she's joining us from Toronto, Canada. Today, we'll be focusing on transformative self-care for high achiever, which is very much in line, with what we are doing right now. So with that, I'm going to give it over to Christine and welcome her to our show.
Hello, everyone. It's such a pleasure, such an honor to be here, Monica. Thank you for inviting me to be in your show, and especially for the first one, the first launch.
Yeah, I know. You never know, right? Like how it works out. Because this is a project which, I have been thinking about for a very long time. But I think sometimes it takes, that flow to hit the right moment, and then it's like it happens. So I'm so happy you are here. All right. So to start the show, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, about your background, and we can, deep dive into the other techniques and tools what you would be sharing and teaching with us today.
Sure. So, like you, I'm also an immigrant. I came and I was born and raised in Jakarta, Indonesia. I moved to Canada about 20 years ago. Um, and it was a naive move because I just want to live abroad. I want to have a different experience, and I move as far as I can. So this is Indonesia, and Canada is on the other side. Just right. um, and I used to suffer from high functioning anxiety. Like I did everything with like stress. I always feel like inside me there's like I'm gonna mess up. Like so I moved immigrant to Canada. I find a job and built my career in IT as a user experience. So it's related as well with the technology. Now it's like I always look calm, but inside, everything that I do, everything that I did, it's always like make sure it's right, make sure there's no mistakes. And my default mode was stressed, like tense. Even my body, like if I see my pictures when I was like 15, 17, like it's very like tight and I'm always worried about that. But I didn't know because it's always in me until about 5 years ago, where I went for a job. This is when I went for a business trip. I went for a job, and then I had to lead a workshop at that time. I was so stressed out. I developed some kind of rash in my skin. I went for a job. I came back and did some journaling, and I realized what happened. Um, because when I grew up, I was born left-handed, and in Asia, as many of you know, you don't use the left hand. Right? You use left, right? A bit impolite, right? It's not proper. So I grew up like suddenly broke plates and spoon and glasses. And as a child, I was confused, right? Like, what's going on? Like, why everything I hold is like fell down? So I was labeled in my family as the clumsy one. I had that in me, and it like I forgot about it because I thought like my childhood was amazing. There's nothing wrong with it, but then it connect me with that. So I start to kind of have a dialogue with myself, um, saying that as a child I didn't understand anything, so I couldn't comprehend things. But now I grew up, I moved to a different country, I built my career. It's different. So I talked to my childhood and said, I understand what you feel. It was confusing. It's hard for you. I love you. Let me take care of it. It's my turn now. And at that moment, everything kind of flipped, changed. Because around that time, I developed a lot of back pain and also the autoimmune disease where I lost my skin pigment around my neck. But then I start reading a lot of books like Ayurveda, Chinese medicines, and work on my self care, work on my diets, work on my mind, my body, connected with my body, and that start my self development start from there.
Awesome. Yeah, I know. It's so interesting, right? Like how our childhood and our experience and what people has called or named us, like in your case, people called you clumsy, and that kind of state in your subconscious mind, and that could, or if I'm understanding you correctly, that manifested into like other factors like back pain, skin disease, rashes, and things like that.
Yeah, because it's stress, and the thing is, then I develop a lot of self critics, right? It's like
Right.
telling myself, gotta, especially in Asia, because I don't know, people don't, our parents don't compliment. It's like compliment is not part of the language. It's just critics because they want us to get better, right? Like
Hmm.
you get B, you should have A, things like that. So it becomes like everything I do. Oh, what's not right now, so I can fix it.
Hmm. Right.
There's no appreciations of like what been done or like work that I've been doing.
Hmm.
So I developed that over years to like kind of remove that self critics and put a compassionate self talk
Hmm.
like automatically, and everything become less, it become more ease. Because as a, you want to achieve something, and sometimes we're like, yeah, we got to do this, have to work hard, have to like do something, always do without without being. And my experience also with dance, I'm a Odissi dancer.
Oh,
I,
wow.
yes, so I've been training for about 12 years. So I start with Bharatanatyam, and now with last 3 years I do Odissi. And
Okay.
but dancing is also helped me to connect with myself.
Right, right. Yeah, definitely. This is so awesome. All right. So tell us a little bit about, like, I think the background of where you started your personal growth journey is the stress and anxiety, and, I guess the childhood baggage, so as to speak. And then you started taking self-care and, elevating yourself. So yeah, tell us more like about it.
It's been a long journey. Um, so now I don't know about you all. Like if you guys working in IT or a lot of using analytical thinking, um, what I found, that's what I've been doing. So I sit down in front of a computer, doing a lot of, like just putting myself down on chairs and not moving. Um, One of my childhood memory, that the ones that I like give me joy, is when I dance.
Hmm.
So then I start, you know what? I feel like I need to go there again. Go there again. So I start looking for like what type of dance I want to start, I want to learn, and it's led me to that. So that's where kind of start. Oh, this is what I feel. Oh, like like we always be in the same position all the time. There's a hole where we like stay, but when we kind of what we think, because what we think, it goes to what we feel, and what we feel, it's in our body. So it's like and and um, and feel in the body help you to develop your intuitions and finding yourself too.
All right. So it is, what you have in your head, right? What you have in your mind reflects in what you feel, and what you feel in your body is what comes out, right? Like, so I think one of the biggest, I guess, takeaway from what you shared now is you reflected on what made you happy as a child. And dancing was one of your, one of the factor which made you happy. And so you took that back and expanded that, and that elevated your life as a whole.
Yeah, and I also want to share. I have a conversation with my coach a few days ago. It's very profound because he asked me about my intentions. So, what is your intentions? And after the discussions, there's a couple keywords that's come out in the discussions. The keywords that make me feel like, like my eyes
Mm-hmm.
slightly, and I can feel the energy in me. So those keywords for me are experiment, creative, freedom, flexibility, um, uh, it just playfulness. And when I connect with that word, I just realize it feels like I can suddenly look back through my life and think about, oh, that's why I moved to Canada because I'm always look for adventure. Oh, that's why, like, I remember all my childhood experience where, things are fun, where I play with the mud and like look around, like running or things that are outside where there is no expectation. There's no like, oh, I need to get result. And I look at myself now. I mean, as an adult, always have a goal. We want to when we do something. What is that for me, right? There's always expectation around us, and we kind of trap in like, I want certainty. And I realize there's always a kind of conflict in me. There's like, I do want certainty as an adult. I have kids, I have mortgage, but at the same time, hey, I want to play. I want to do some adventure. I want to experiment. And when I think about experiment, it's like, wow, I don't have to follow a, like strategy ABC. It's just me experimenting. And then at that point, I found like, oh my God, I'm being me again. And being me again because like I connect with all the value that I have when I was a child that make me alive. And then this couple of days it's been about being me again. And it's such a great feeling because we don't, it's like complete. We don't have to look, we don't have to fix ourselves. We don't have to look somewhere and kind of finding ourselves. It's just here. It's all here. And it was such a grounding feeling, such a relief. Because I don't have to do something. I just do because I want to experiment.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, and I think like this is very relevant, right? Like with your background and my background and many of our listeners. We are so, I guess, taught, how to more into like, okay, this is what I need to do and this is what I need to focus on. And when we start doing some fun things, it is kind of treated or perceived as like time waste, right? Things which really gives you joy, you step out of your boundary. But to me, right, like, I mean, I am working full time in the IT industry. I have two beautiful children, and yet, like, I'm doing this, and this is my passion. This is like, like, it makes me so happy. And I feel that, in fact, on the contrary, it makes me more productive in my other facet of life. So absolutely, I am in line with you with what you're sharing, that when you reflect and you find something which brings a sparkle to your eye, right, and which makes you lively, that is the source of the energy, and that is the source of you being you and me being me.
Yes.
Wow, cool. On that note, maybe we can switch gear, and you can share us about what you do now, and tell us a little bit about your work.
Um, so this past year, I've been opening up again. So I've been working in IT for 2 decades, and now I'm exploring because for me, um, user experience is about changing user experience, like application and stuff like that. But I thought, you know what? There's a deeper need that everybody need. It's like changing the inside of experience, because that's what make difference in people's life. So I'm really into that. So it's kind of like an, an expansions of what I love about solving problem, and watching what people do, and how, like, getting to the empathy side of understanding people. So now I'm been doing a basically I'm helping, my mission is to help high achiever to overcome their self-doubt, because I did have that, and I struggle with that self-made rule. I have that too. I made so much rule for myself, and I think we all do, that cause stress, frustrations, overwhelm. Put in a box, so that they can live life, serve with clarity and peace of mind. And these two words are so dear to me, because clarity, I want to know the next steps. I don't want to 10 steps ahead of me. But like, I found there's much simpler than that. So clarity is so important, peace of mind, and coaching, because I do dance, so I kind of combine that movement and kind of getting to know yourself through your body, through movement meditations or contemplative dance. I also do online workshop.
Oh, cool. So tell us about what are your offerings, and what is going on right now.
So I right now I have coaching clients like one-on-one. I do occasionally embodied movement workshop in Toronto. Now I have free. Last April I did a free challenge of from overthinking to flow. Having giving like a daily short video for people to listen, and also do some kind of action, like small actions. I'm planning to do a 5 days self-care challenge as well. That's dear. It's dear to me, because with my experience having two kids, small kids, and having getting balance, I feel like it's so important to have that, which will lead to a transformative self care. Because I found in out there, self care is like something I have to do, but self care is much more than that. It's about self. It's about uh, being taking care of yourself. So being a self caring being. So I want to change that into that mindset, a self caring being, because everything that you do after that is become intuitive. So it's not about, oh, I need to do step A to step B or what people do, but like, when you are a self caring being, you kind of intuitively care about yourself, care of yourself.
Right. And I think the self care part is particularly to women, moms, and many, like you said, like self care seems to be like a luxury, right? When people do self care, that's how it's perceived. But what I'm hearing and what I'm learning from my experience and from your sharing too is, when you focus on self care, and as you call it, self caring being, and it should be intuitive, it should not be a work, right? It should come by itself. And when you do that, in fact, that's how you can help people more, because we see a lot of people in our community wherein um, you give more importance to other people and your self-caring to be the lowest, and then that kind of depletes your energy and you can hit rock bottom, right? So if we want to elevate people around us, if we want it to be a happy ambience, I think self-care should be the core. It shouldn't be a work, it should be a part of us. And I think that is one of the biggest thing we all need to learn. And I know one of our participants, because generally when I do the workshop, I ask, right, okay, what is that you're looking for? Where do you think you're lacking? Where do you want to improve on? And one of the women who is very well established, she said, self-care. I want to learn how to care for myself. So I think it's very much relevant to what you do, and hopefully, like you will bring more insights in today's show too. All right. Is there anything else you want to add on what you do now? So you are doing the one-on-one coaching. You said you do the workshop with body movement. Is that only a face-to-face, and you host that in Canada? That sounds very interesting.
Actually do in and usually in person. I'm thinking now to do it online, but I'm still in this here because the idea of like now it's talking, it's fine because we're sitting down, but like the I also lead a usually weekly mindfulness session for 15
Mm-hmm.
minutes. So that one is people sitting down, right? But like this mindful movement or like embodied movement where um, I give you some kind of like, for example, I give you a task to do, just kind of a limitation in a way, like a
Hmm.
rule, where then you use that rule to move yourself.
Okay.
Um, and using your breathing, for example, or using a word where you think about a word or like emotions that, let's say, sadness. How do you dance it? And then you change it into joy. How you dance it. So your body, it's kind of, you learn how it feels in the body, that feeling, and watching yourself and feeling the expansion of the muscles, you have an idea. Oh, I'm always tense. I'm always in the mostly sad mode, but there's a space that I can go. There's more space here. Then you can kind of open it up and feel a different feeling in your body.
Okay. All right. So I'm hoping that you would be teaching us some of the, I guess, technique and some of the things what you teach. But before we go into that, let's take a quick break. And I want to give a shout out. This is a company called Dweller. Dweller is indigenous tea. It's a new company which I came to know as part of the 1001 Thagachari. It's a gratitude project I do for Manipur, because I felt that we are more focused on criticism, and we need to develop and encourage gratitude for people who are doing great things in our community. So as part of that project, Dweller and the founder of Dweller, Eli Yambem, has been nominated 2 times by our participants who came up to our show and who really appreciated the work. So what she is doing is she takes local indigenous products, it could fruits, leaves, and make tea out of it. And I personally have drank her tea, and it's awesome. And I just wanted to take a moment and give a big shout out to Dweller Indigenous Teas. It is a product from Manipur, natural, healthy, and indigenous, as she says. And I have put the Facebook link, to connect to her page. And also, you can definitely order the tea and try it for yourself. So, big shout out to Dweller. All right. So now back to Christine. All right. So we spoke about what do you do, and what are some of the ways I think we as a human being can um, sit back, reflect, and do a little bit of self care so that we can elevate ourselves and be happy. Right? I mean, we don't want to be stressed or anxious, and um, so Christine, if you can, at this section, like teach us some of the, I guess, tools or techniques, what you have.
All right. So I've been thinking about it. I thought like, what would be a good good technique for a short period of time, and where we can all do that in our chair. um, so I was gonna do this technique, show you. I do this when I go to sleep, and when you do this before you go to sleep, it's usually make your your sleeping quality get better on this. And um, what happened is my husband is a light sleeper, so sometimes if we get worried at work, he will think about it at night, and when I wake up, I see him like have his eyes open. And what I did to him, I just put my hand on just in between his eyebrow, and then push it gently, and suddenly he just stopped and then closed his eyes. So I thought that's probably a good exercise to do together. Would you
Okay.
like to do
Yeah,
it?
sure. Let's do it.
What I usually have, I have kind of a oil, either sesame oil or coconut oil with essential oil, and mix it with essential oil next to my bed. So before I go to sleep in my bed, I usually like put it a little bit on my hands, uh, any kind of oil, any massage oil, and then you can kind of so so in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Put your tongue on the side,
Okay.
and then with your two finger, so put your tongue on the side, so it's steady. Two finger, and this from here, from just right here, in a circle movement, gently, and you can close your eyes if you feel like it. And go up, slowly go up, and landing between your hair and the skins, and just like push push a little bit there gently, and take a deep breath, and then and move your fingers to the side to behind here. There's a kind of like behind the bone and the side like that. Then you can do a couple things. You can do that a couple times. And the other thing is like under your eyebrow, I don't know if you can see it, under
Mm-hmm.
your, just run your finger to the side along the bone, to the side here, and then stay here a little bit, take a deep breath, and do it again from under, just right there. Slowly, gently push it to the side. You can close your eyes, take a deep breath, and stay right there. Take a deep breath. How do you feel?
So do we put a lot of pressure or it's
It's
medium?
medium. It depends. Like some people like to get very strong massage.
Yeah.
Some people like it. So it depends on what you feel. It just feel it. So feel. The thing is, it's not just about doing it, but also feeling the sense it, because some part of it, like if you go running your finger up there, there's part that like suddenly you feel like, ah. and then there's part that not that strong, but then there's another part that like kind of kind of make you relax a bit, and then you
Hmm.
can so in a way like you at the same time you connect with the sense how it feels with the pressure with your hands in your body in that area.
Okay. All right. So put oil. It could be any oil of our choice, right? Coconut or, put a little bit of essential oil if you like the aroma. And then, so we could do this ourselves or we could do it for somebody. And this is going to enhance sleeping, a good sleep. And also, is this also something we can use when we are highly stressed and we just want to calm ourselves?
Totally.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
sometimes you are in some situation and I'm like, I generally do the breathing, but I have not done this. And I think this would be a great tool for my mother who is listening right now. And, because she does want to have a good sleep. So I think we can try that. And yeah, I think for me, this would be um, for sleeping. I think I'm okay with sleep. I think this would be like to calm me down, if I am in some situation and just take that couple of minutes.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
the thing is that that kind of opening up your nose as well, so you breathe deeper.
Yeah.
Uh, Another thing about stress, let's say you're during the day you're stressed out. What I found help is movement. So play some music, just move, shake it,
Hmm.
um, because emotion motion, right?
Yeah.
So emotion is energy. So that energy need to go out. And again, love, anything that beautiful like courage, peace. It's a flowing energy. But anxiety, fear, or like some tension, it's kind of stuck in your body, right? So by moving it, just go for a walk or like dance it, dance that.
Hmm.
It's gonna it change. It will change that energy into something different.
Okay. So, like, again, something I think I have experienced that, right? Like, if you go for high intense exercise or, you go for running, I'm not really good in dancing, but, I could dance with my kids.
Always.
But yeah, but I think I think a quick way to shift your body energy, like if you're feeling down, you're anxious, you're upset or whatever, just start moving, whatever you like, be it dancing, go walk, just move your hand around or jump or do whatever.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, that's great. All right, anything else?
For me or people to ask question.
Oh, yeah, we'll take questions towards the end. But is there
Okay.
any other? Oh, no, I did have another question, which when you were talking before I forget.
Sure.
So you mentioned about flow, right? And can you, for me and for our listener, take some moment to explain what is flow and how do we get towards flow?
Good questions. Very good questions. Um, Flow is you can think about stream or river, right? Flow, water always flow. Right? That's the nature of it. In the stream of water, water always flow. Um, Creativities, us as human, even the nature is always flow, always following that flow path of the least resistance. Um, but what we have sometimes when we're not in the flow, when there's a fear, when there's something where what people gonna think of us, things like what if it's gonna fail, things are with it's kind of a resistance. So flow is when you relax, things about stream of water, things about when you relax, when you move your head without any, when you move your body without any that resistance. um, if you can kind of embody that even in your body, and when you do some work, for example, feeling that, oh, let's say tension in your body, or even sometimes thoughts, right? Thoughts related to resistance. So if we be able to, okay, this is the flow. The flow is where there's no resistance. When I do some work, and I feel like, and that's meaning that maybe something in our thought that we're not aware of, that we're thinking about resistance, and we can let it go, not by judging ourselves. Why are thinking like that? Or I want to get better, but like, okay, I thinking like that, and at this moment I want to come back to flow. So use your feelings, what feeling good for you, to direct you back, because thoughts, we feel it to our feelings. So when we
Okay.
feel something different, we always come back to that and say, I want to feel this way. How do I do it without resistance?
All right. So whenever we are, right, like flow, you can think about it as a river flowing without any resistance. And in life, when we feel some resistance and, we feel stuck, the, I guess, fastest way to get out of that is sit again, like back to our thinking, right? Think what makes us happy, what gives us happiness, how do I get into that? And then change that energy, right? Because someone said to me, like, and this was very much in the early phase, when I started very intense personal growth journey. And I said, yeah, I don't know, I have seen myself to be very productive, and things just come to me like, oh, this is how I should do it. And that's when I started painting. And she's like, oh, painting is your flow. And I was like, oh, what is flow? I didn't even hear, right, about flow and the concept of flow. And, that is when I was introduced. And I have been using it for myself. And painting for me has been a very good tool, right? It's like, oh, I have my time. I paint what I like, I'm passionate about, and it just resets me, right? And I'm like filled with energy, and I go out to the world and do what I'm supposed to be doing. So for our listener, like Christine has said, right, there would be something for you who and what makes you happy, and it is for you to find out that and focus your energy, shift it to that, and get yourself back in track. Cool, love that concept.
Yeah. I have another thing about flow. In flow, there's an element of trust, right? Trust is very important. I mean, in spiritual term, it's called faith.
Mm,
But trust, there's two kind of trust. Trust your inner wisdom, right? So because this thinking brain, it's just halfway, right? We have the whole thing that works. So trust that we are doing what we the best for ourselves, right? That's what, even sometimes it doesn't, it doesn't align with our goal, but that's trust. The other thing is trust that the God, the universe, will also work with us. So like,
right.
because we think like, if you don't trust, we cannot have that flow. Because when you paint, you don't like, oh, maybe it's bad. You don't. When you paint with, because pleasure, right? For pleasure, for
Yeah.
fun, you don't like, oh my god, I don't really can do this. Like, what a like. If you don't trust yourself, you start comparing with other people, right? And then if you don't trust the process, it's not gonna be fun. It's not gonna be flow, because at the end of the painting, you don't really know what's gonna look like, and that's
Right.
part of it.
Right. Oh my God, I'm having so much fun talking with Christine, but I know we are at time, and I want to give some opportunity to our live listener. So, Safi and Dinah, let me know. You can unmute yourself and come to the video and take the opportunity to ask any question to our beautiful Christine. Yes, Dinah, go ahead.
Hi, Christine. It's me, Dinah. I just want to ask you one question. Is that um, how do you always be positive, and how do you always remain a positive person? When I see you, I always see the positive vibes, and I think I see a very optimistic person. So, how do you always be a positive person? How do you handle life? How do you tackle those hurdles which come in it? So, I just want to know that.
So if you can cut off and on, but what you say is, how do you be positive or
Yes,
optimistic?
yes. So
Yeah,
just to recap, yeah. So Dinah is asking, how do you remain so positive? I think, I know she had a lot of question, but to crux that question.
How do I do it? There's a couple things. I develop trust about myself and trust about the universe. So my affirmation is, I'm here at this moment. I'm complete at this moment. Everything is right. So the thing is about that, it's so easy and it's so true because at this moment, unless we put like in the future, it's not complete, but at this moment, I'm complete. At this moment, everything is right. And that's true. And we can go back, if I go back to that, I know, because I even like a struggle is at this moment, it's right because it's gonna be good for me too.
Wow, that's absolutely right. So at this moment, I'm complete. Don't think about, the past. Don't think about the future.
yeah,
At this moment, like right now, look, we have Christine from Canada. We have Diana from Manipur in India. I'm here in America. Safi is there in India. My mom is here. We are here, complete and enjoying this moment, having a wonderful time. So the practice of that is going to help us be positive. Absolutely. Thank you. All right. So will Safi, do you have any question?
Uh, yeah. Yeah. Hi, Christian.
Something.
So I just had like one show. Say you are like having a setback, like say you fail an exam. Um, After you fail an exam, so you think about the worst case scenario, like what will happen to your life, and like what will be like future construction and all. Um, but you think about the worst case scenario, and then you make yourself think that okay, I can overcome this and all. But even if you try to be positive, but there is some like small like, thought that that you feel very really bad about that you failed an exam, or yeah, you're having some other issue in your life. So how can I remove this small thought, even if I think about the worst case scenario, still I feel that I can overcome that. But that small thought of that fear or anxiety, how can we remove this
Okay.
when you're having upset?
So I'm gonna answer that question with a story. So there was a young man going to see his teacher. So his teacher was like meditating in a willow tree, and this young man came to the teacher and said, "Guru, I for these few months you taught me. I get a lot of peace and peace of mind. I become more compassionate to others and to myself. Thank you so much. But 2 days ago, I just got have some incident. I went to travel and see my cousin's wedding, and somebody steal my luggage, and all my money's gone, and I feel so bothered and I feel so defeated even when I talk about it. How can I find peace of mind with that situations? I cannot sleep. So then he said, well, from what I hear, what you said, what you lost is your belongings and your money, right? But not your peace of mind. The peace of mind is still in you. So you can mourn for the loss, but after that, come back to your peace of mind. Because what's inside you cannot be, nobody can steal what's inside you. Does it make sense? So when we have thoughts, it always give our feelings, right? And we cannot like, I sometimes I get anxious too. But then knowing that it's temporary, it's like a cloud, it's gonna come and go. It's fine to be anxious. It's fine to feel disappointed when you fail. It's not sometimes we don't want to have that feeling, but like that's come with the feeling because we are alive, we feel. But then we know nobody can take your self-worth, nobody can take your you, nobody can reduce you inside unless you think they can, unless you think the situation can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think for Safi and also many of our listeners who are young and, like wherein again, like it's ingrained, right, with expectations from our parents on education, on, whatever expectation you have. And when you fail that, what if I fail? What if I'm not up to that expectation? So that fear and anxiety is there. So I think it's more, like what, even if that happens, right, we have ourselves, we have our peace of mind, and then come back to that. And sometimes, right, failure and rejection could be a way of the universe telling you or directing you to something which you were destined to, right? So let me share a quick I guess recent rejection which turned out to be a whole different path. So the reason why I started painting was not so much, I love painting, but I elevated it from a rejection. Did the project of fundraising for palliative care, right? I thought about this initial idea that, hey, I'm going to invite um, artists from my hometown, and then I'm going to use their work. And it could be like twofold, right? One is I would promote their work and it would go all over the world through my channel. And then those work is going to be used as greeting cards for our project, and we can do a fundraising for palliative care, which is a great initiative. So to me, that's like, wow, like it's great, right? I get to promote the artists, I get to raise fund, and it's going to be great. But when I started the outreach to the artists, I didn't really get like a good response, and it was not quite setting, right? So I was like, okay, it was a rejection. But I didn't like, get myself dumbed down. But I have to admit that, yes, it did affect me. And I said, oh, how about I try to, make some art? And that's when the journey started. And now I feel that, oh, maybe I was destined to make the own, greeting card for our fundraising and for our gratitude project. So the reason why I'm sharing this is, sometimes I think we get too fearful and, be stuck because of failure or because of that expectation. And it's okay, sometimes it's okay. Like if it happens, it's okay. I think it's that, again, like, living in the present, being aware, and then moving on with that peace of mind, what Christine was saying, that, you have yourself, right? All right, so awesome. So I want to take this moment to share Christine's website. And let me do a quick share. So Christine has been very kind and has indicated to me that she would have some offering for our listener. And I would request Christine to share about the offerings with us.
Yeah, so right now, so I did this once last April, and I'm gonna run as soon as I have enough people in my waiting list. This is a free challenge from overthinking to flow. Um, Again, because I felt this is also it was my struggle, and I take people having just like from overthinking to flow, figuring out why we overthink. what kind of thinking habits that make us overthink or overwhelm or make us stress, and then also going through the what is goals, what make us happy, and what's the downside of even making goals. So we are taught to always, like, get some goal, and but what are those things that are not aligned with the nature of us as human being. So those are basically part of it. So if you want to interested, just join the waiting list. When I ready to open, I open it up. And again, you can in this, there's also sign up to my newsletter. I'm planning to do that 5 days journey as well. 5 days self care that you can join later.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And thank you so much, Christine, for offering this for us. I am definitely going to sign up. So I do encourage, our listeners and viewers to take this opportunity, right? Because sometimes when you're stuck, and many of us are, I have been there, Christine has been there, but there are so many resources, right, out there in the world. I'm here, Christine is here, and so are many people. So, don't think that you are alone. Come over, find your tribe, and there are a lot of like free resource, and we are so fortunate that Christine has offered this, and overthinking to flow and clarity. I think that would be really awesome. And sometimes it's not like a one time, it's a continuous journey of 15 days. So I am looking forward. I'm going to be signing up. And for our
Right.
listeners, yeah, I do encourage you, and we would see all of you, whoever is joining together, and learn ourselves. So awesome. So with that, I think I'm going to call it a wrap for the show. And before we do that, Christine, is there anything else you would like to share before we end the show?
um, yeah, so I guess for me, and this is a message for you all as well, um, it's a journey, and we are here for a journey. And and sometimes we always want to have a good feelings and things happen, so we know what we don't want. And but always trust your inner wisdom, always trust there's peace, things that you don't have, even like you don't have to do anything. There's like, if you tune into that, you always can find it inside without being here.
All right. With that, we'll end the show, and we welcome you to watch. Keep tuning in. We'll be getting, a lot of guest speaker who will be sharing on how we can elevate ourselves and make the world a better place with more positivity. And thank you so much, Christine. I know that your child is awake, and look at Christine. Christine is a mom of two beautiful children, and we are here, right? Look at that. Hello. And she woke up very early, 7 a.m., to be in our show. And we really appreciate you. Keep doing what you do. And, it's people like you who is bringing so much of light in the universe. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Monica, for having me. Thank you, everybody. I really enjoyed these conversations.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Many blessings to you all.
Yeah.